Hey, beading friends, it's Kristen here with a new episode of Free Spirit Beading, and I am feeling rainbow-licious. Happy June, happy Pride Month. I am a proud Pride mom, and I am just all about rainbows right now and kind of always. So I thought it would be fun to share a rainbow sun catcher with you all. I actually told Sarah that I was going to be creating one for myself because all of the sun catchers I've made with you guys on these episodes so far, I have gifted and they're all gone, except for this one here. And I thought, oh, it would be really fun to create a rainbow sun catcher for my own patio. And Sarah goes, why don't you do that with everybody on the video? And you can kind of do it in multiple parts. So we're not going to do an entire sun catcher of rainbow today, but we are going to continue on week after week until we get a full rainbow. I might do like 1 or 2 colors per video, depending on how quickly I get them done. So, hey, everybody who's joining me. Hello. Hi, Lydia. Hi, Dana. Hi, Kolidi. Great to see everyone. I hope you're not sick of sun catchers because we got some more we're going to do. So speaking of that, I will be using some wire working tools. I'll have round nose pliers, chain nose, bent nose, just here at my disposal if I need them. Of course, a pair of cutters. I have the Italian flush cutter here and a pair of nylon jaw pliers for straightening. I also have my multi-mandrel tool and a wig jig tool, which you can freehand as well, but I thought I would share making it on a jig too, for those of you that have a jig or want a jig or want to use your jig that you have. It's also great if you're going to be doing a particular shape over and over again repeatedly so that you can get your shape to be more consistent. The wig jigs really come in handy for that. Hello, Juliet and Terry. Oh, Kalidi's in Tucson. We got a lot of sun. Yes, more sun catchers. So much sun here in the desert. Hi, Mari. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Lori. Dana says, love your colorful headband and necklace. Thank you. This is a fabulous thrift store find. I was so excited when I found that. And this is made with soft flex beading wire. And we did a Love is Love mystery design kit. I think it was last summer. And so this necklace was created with that kit. But the instructions are available to you, and you can substitute any beads you have in rainbow colors to make this kind of design. It is these really flexible, fun beading wire loops, and then attached to a single strand of white soft flex. So this one was done on white, but you can do it in all different colors. Super fun design, and I think Damien will share a link to this necklace, or at least to the blog that we wrote about that particular kit. Let's see what else I have here. Dana loves sun catchers. Great. It's fun, especially right now when I'm like spending time outside, although it's getting a little warm. We were definitely warmer this weekend. I didn't get to hang out outside quite as much. But in those warmer days, I can look out onto my patio and see my beautiful beaded sun catchers, and that will bring me joy. There's the rainbow necklace. Yeah, so it was a YouTube video. We might have a playlist for rainbow stuff, but if we don't, you could probably also search rainbow. We have quite a few. Did a pair of earrings in the past, and then we had I've done like a wrapped bracelet with rainbow crystals. So there's quite a few fun rainbow jewelry designs over on the Softflex Company YouTube channel that you can check out if you're looking for some fun rainbow ideas. All right. Oh, hi, Jody from sunny Madison, Wisconsin. Great to see you. So what's going on at Softflex Company? We just wrapped up a bead sale that we did over on our website. We were supposed to have a live bead sale last week, and it just didn't work out as planned. So we ended up doing a bead sale on the website. So just want to say thank you to all of you that took part in that sale and purchased some items. We have some really beautiful gemstone beads on the Softflex Company website. And a lot of those have been there for a really long time because we just don't get the chance to kind of highlight them and show them. And this week we sold out of probably 20 plus strands of beads that were, been kind of hanging out for a while. And that felt really good. And it was really fun to see that they're going to have new homes and no longer be stuck in the warehouse. So I'm looking forward to you guys getting those packages because the beads are stunning and the quality is always really, really great. So if you're ever unhappy with something, we have a great return policy. So I know that in the bead section, we have some higher priced items, which can be a little tricky purchasing online. So you can always try it and then send it back if it wasn't something that was to your liking. I think we have like a 30 or 45-day return policy. So we understand that sometimes beads can be a little bit tricky, especially in those higher price points, to really get a good sense of what you're getting. And we have that policy in place so that, just to ease it a little bit. So that was cool. That just ended yesterday. That was a shorter sale that we did. We started, I think, on Tuesday and then ended yesterday. The current offer we have going on is to win a shopping spree. We like to do this a couple of times a year. We pick 5 winners to win $50 shopping sprees at the Softflex Company website. And if you place an order over $50 this week, it ends tomorrow night, June 6th at midnight. If you place an order of $50 or more, you'll get 1 entry. If you place it for $75 or more, you'll get 2 entries. And if you place an order for $99 or more, you get 3 entries. We put them all into a document, and then we do a random poll for 5 winners, 5 people to win that $50 gift certificate that you could use on your next purchase. So that's always a lot of fun. And so that's going on until tomorrow. If you spend over $65, you will also get free shipping within the United States. So in that case, you'd get 1 entry and free shipping. If you bump it up to $75, you'd get 2 entries and free shipping. What else is going on? I know we have a beading party on Wednesday of this week. That is at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then we have a mermaid party that starts on Thursday and also continues on Friday. So big week of lots of fun ideas and tutorials and beading party friends. So we look forward to seeing you guys in all of those spaces. We also just have one of our Under the Sea beading kits that we thought sold out. And a few more were found under a clamshell. So we put that up this morning, and there are a few more of these Under the Sea mystery beading kits available. If you missed one, Sarah revealed it last week. I think it was last week, right? Last Wednesday. So if you want to take a look, you can actually see what's inside by watching last Wednesday's reveal video. And you can grab a few more of these while they last. Okay. Oh, one more thing. We have some stuff we put on outlets. You know what? I'll switch down to my beading table and share these with you before we get going. We have a few things we put on outlet a couple of weeks ago. I just got them in my package this weekend, so I wanted to share them with you. We have some craft wire. This is our gunmetal color, and it was a color that we carried a while ago. We no longer carry it, and I have a feeling they may have just found a batch in the warehouse, and that's why it went up in the outlet, because it's not a color that we currently carry. It's called gunmetal, and we've got it in 18 gauge, 20 gauge, 22, and 24. And it could even be that these came in like a little off color, because to me, they don't look, you know how gunmetal is a little more on that deep gray side, almost black. These have a little bit of an antique finish looking to them, like a little bit of a green in there, maybe closer between a gunmetal and an antique brass color. So that actually could also be why they were never put online, is they might have just been sort of put to the side because the color was a little off. But if you don't mind that and you like this color, it is a great deal. You could find that in our outlet section at softluxcompany.com. And we put up a bunch of jump rings. I just got these this weekend also, so we actually don't have pictures up yet on the website. We loaded them in with an image that says picture coming soon, but I wanted to share them with you because we'll be taking pictures and getting them up there today or tomorrow. So these are the 4mm antique copper jump rings. These are the 6mm textured antique brass jump rings, although these look more copper to me. So I guess this is considered the copper. So this one's copper, 6mm textured copper, and then they have this one labeled as antique brass, but it seems more like an antique copper to me. I might talk with them about that name. 4mm antique copper jump ring. Again, this one's open. This first one must have been closed. And then 6mm antique silver jump rings. This one's open. And then we've got some textured silver jump rings. I know these are always a fan favorite. We've got them in open and in closed. 6mm are open, 8mm are closed. So you can find these in the outlet section as well. And images are coming soon for those. So now let's get to what I have for this project. I've got our 16 gauge non-tarnished silver craft wire that I will be using for the base of my shape. That's what I used here. And then I've got 22 gauge in the non-tarnish silver that I'll be using for the inside beading work. I might also use 20, because if I do a kind of swirly design, which I think I might do today, I might want something a little bit heavier. So I'll let you know when I actually take it out. So this one's going to be at the top of my sun catcher, and it is purples in tone, but it's also got some whites and some creams in here, and it's a little bit lighter purples in here too. So got those violet colors. And I also follow the chakra system. I love working with the chakra energy system. And this to me feels very crown chakra. So that's why I'm going to have it at the top. Crown would be white, violet. And then the next one would be, excuse me, your third eye chakra, which would be purple. So I think I'm going to leave this one as the crown white violet. And then I'm going to pick up these purple beads to make my next one, my next shape in purple. And then after purple will be blue and then green. And then here's my yellow. Yellow and then orange and then red. So I'll just take the purple aside for now. Penny says, I succumbed and got some 16 gauge in my last order. Thanks, Kristen, for feeding the addiction beast. Yes. So a little note, I should say that. Thank you. A note about our 16 gauge wire is it's not something we're going to carry anymore. So we've got it in copper, we've got it in silver, and we've got it in gold. And once our stock of these colors is sold out, we do not plan to bring it in again. We're going to stop our craft wire line at 18 gauge instead of going down to 16 gauge. So if you like this idea or like the idea of doing something like this, I suggest grabbing some 16 gauge in your next order as soon as you can, because once we're out, we're not going to replenish. I know that in some cases, we are down to maybe 10 of the particular metal tone. I don't remember which one that was. So I'm getting all of mine out in my sun catcher phase that I'm in and using up all of my 16 gauge craft wire. And it comes in a roll like this. We will have all of the other gauges from, what's our smallest? 28, I think, is the smallest, all the way up to 18. We'll still carry those, but we're not going to carry the 16 anymore. Becky says, I love those beads, and that's a pretty design. Thank you. So we did this swirl design not last week, because last week was a holiday, right? So we did it the week before. So you can find this particular shape and design for this top of the sun catcher on that video. And then we're going to do a different shape today, and then also make a little jump ring to go ahead and connect the two shapes together. So I think I'm going to use my wig jig and make I've mostly been doing just like circles and diamonds. So I think the next one I'll do is a diamond, and then I'm going to have to come up with some new shapes to share because I have lots of other colors to do. So I'm just going to unwrap my craft wire, and it will kind of open up a little bit off that spool. I'm going to trim this piece off. Tree jewelry, I love that. Colidi says, a sun catcher or several linked together hung with fishing line would make a beautiful dangle from a tree branch. Tree jewelry. Oh, that sounds so magical. I love that idea. I have 3 trees in my yard, but admittedly, none of them are very large. I probably have 1 tree that would be considered like somewhat of a regular tree size. The other two are still kind of bushes more than they are trees. I have a lemon bush and an orange bush. But I have I think it would be a ficus. I think it's like a ficus. It's very similar leaves to the citrus trees, but it doesn't bear any citrus. I feel like it's in the ficus family. Becky says, I need to get a bigger jig. I just have the smallest. Yeah, this one is the Wig Jig Olympus Light. I mean, it's not a huge jig, but I feel like this shape is big enough. And how much am I going to cut off? Let's check my ruler here. So I've got 14 inches that I cut off to play with. And I wonder, so I've done it. I was thinking about doing a triangle, but maybe I'll go around the pegs like that, come down and go around. And then this way I'll have little loops here, here, and here. And I could add a little dangle if I want to. So I'm going to keep my jig set up in the same way. I've just got a peg at the top, a peg at the bottom, kind of in the center, and then 2 pegs across from one another about the center as well. And then I'm going to find where I put my round nose plier. And I'm going to make a P shape. First thing, I'm just going to make sure that my ends are flush cut, and that one looks good. This one is not flush cut on this side, so I'm just going to come in and using my cutters with the flat side facing my wire, I'm going to trim that off, and then now that is flush cut also. And then I'm just going to make a little loop. This is the 16 gauge. Make a loop with my round nose plier. And I'm just going to use that as my first peg guidance here. And you can either do it that way or this way. I think I like it that way for this particular project. So I'm going to hook. And then I also want to think about how I want to twist it around my peg. I'm just going to straighten my wire out a smidge with my nylon jaw pliers. So to do that, I'm going to grab a hold of this loop with my bent nose pliers or chain nose, hold it down, and then run the wire through my nylon jaw plier just to give it a little extra straightening. And then go ahead and put that back in that little loop up there. I'm going to come down to my first peg, and I think I'm going to go under it. So I'm going to go under my first peg, and then I'm going to hold on to my wire and just twist the jig. You don't want to twist the wire. It's easier to twist the jig and take it to my next peg. So just like that. And then I'm going to go around this one. Just like that. Let me get myself back in my original positioning. So my wire went down and around that peg, then down and around that peg, and now it's going to go to this one, and I'm going to bring it on the inside, since this is kind of coming up from the inside, bring it on the inside of that peg, and then twist the jig again until I get back to the beginning here. Well, let me take this off my jig and see how that looks. That is pretty fun. Trying to just straighten this out a little bit so that that is a little more upright, like so. And then I'm going to take this tail and wrap it around the top here. I'm going to kind of push the tail towards the back of my design, and then I'm going to trim off that excess. And let me measure how much I trimmed. So we started out with 14 inches, and I trimmed off about 4. So you can start with a bit less if you want to. I'll just save that. I'll save that little piece to make a jump ring. So if you got little pieces like this that you have left over, just put them aside, and then you can make your connecting jump rings with them. Okay, so with this shape, I thought it would be fun. I'm going to use I thought it would be fun to hang some dangles off the sides here. I'm going to use my nylon jaw pliers and just give those little loop-de-loops a squeeze, flattening them a little bit in the process. And you can do that for your edges if you want to too. I have to tuck this guy in, so let me do that next. Tuck that tail down so it's not sticking out too far. And there it is. And lastly, before I get going, I'm gonna work hard in this shape, and I'm gonna hang the little piece that I wrapped off the edge, because if you keep that on the center and you try and whack it down, it's really not gonna hit these other wires that you want it to hit. So I'm gonna lay that off the center, off the actual block, and then go ahead and whack this. And I'm just gonna mute myself first. And what that does is scare my doggies and and work hard in my wire. So now this shape is even stronger than it was when we first started. So that's the front of it. Terry says, this shape reminds me of the old popsicle stick God's Eye craft project with yarn. Oh, it does look like that. I agree. Robin is saying, what gauges are you using? Right now, I am using the 16 gauge, Craftwire 16 gauge non-tarnished silver to make my shape. And then I'm going to be using 22 or 20 to make the beaded area on the inside. Well, let's see what beads we have to work with. I pulled these beads. These are some leftovers from our past mystery design kits. And we have 2 available, I think. Well, we have a few bead mixes, but we have 2 design kits available right now. We have the Under the Sea, which is almost sold out. And we have our newest one, which is Lavender Lemonade. You guys ever had lavender lemonade? Have you ever made it? I have made it with, there is like a, what am I trying to say? You know those flavors that you put into coffee, this flavor syrups? There is a lavender one. And I have used that with some fresh squeezed lemon and made some lavender lemonade that way. It was so good. And you don't need to add any other like sugar and stuff that you do for lemonade because there's plenty of that in the lavender syrup. Those were fun. I want to pick out beads that are very purple. Terry says she is lavender offended. A trade show vendor put lavender essential oils on my temples for a migraine I was having, and it ran into my eyes. Ouchie. Oh, that would be so painful. That is the hard part about essential oils, is that you don't want it to run into your eyes or into your mouth or any other sensitive areas. Oh, ouch. I'm sorry that happened to you. I love essential oils, but I don't love all of them, I should say. And I feel like they're very, very concentrated. So if you have any kind of issues with a particular scent or a particular plant, you got to be careful. They are good diluted. Or I like to diffuse them. That's probably my favorite way. Oh, yes, perfect, Janelda. Janelda says, I still have the rainbow kit from last year I could use for this project. Yeah, we had a rainbow kit, and we also did all of those rainbow check glass bead mixes. So any of those would be great if you still have any of those in your stash too. Okay, I think I'll play with these for now and see what happens. I might want these little guys in here too. These are cute. These are cute. Terry says, orange and vanilla scented I love so much. I used to do a dab a dot on my mask during COVID. Yeah, I used to do, I mean, probably not everyone's favorite, but like the thieves oil on my mask. That one's can be pretty intense, but it's good for you. And we love citrus scents in my house. I find citrus probably, for us anyway, it's the least offending. And everybody in the house likes citrus smells. So those are a welcome scent. All right, so let me decide first, what do I want to hang? I feel like I should hang with this guy, this little flower maybe. And then I wasn't sure if this was too big to hang. Is there such a thing? Oh, Janelda says she is a clove person. I like clove too. I don't think my husband likes clove quite as much, but he will tolerate it for me because I do really like clove. It probably brings back memories of toothaches because we've definitely done a lot of clove oil for toothaches. Okay, so now I have 22 gauge that I'm going to use for the inside of my shape here. And I'm going to cut off about maybe 20 inches to work with. I'll do 20 inches. You can always add more if you need it. I prefer not to, so I like to work with a long piece that I hopefully don't have to add more. And then I'm going to straighten the wire with my nylon jaw pliers, just like I did with the other one. I did too, Terry. I don't advocate it either. Clove and orange. Ooh, that sounds delightful. That sounds very like holiday festive to me, like the fall. So I'm just going to find a place to start. There's no like right or wrong place to really start this. I tend to start at the top or near the top and just have a little bit of a tail that you're going to pull around your shape. I'm using my chain nose pliers so I can get a little bit tighter of a wrap. And I'm just going around it through the center and then picking it up around again. And I'll do that 3 or 4 times. See how far this one gets around. And then if you want, you could slide it up to the top if you want to kind of put it up at the top there. And now I have this wire here, and you can do all sorts of things with this. You can bead through the inside of the shape, kind of like we did here on the last one, or you can make, with this particular design, I was thinking about the God's Eye. You could kind of go beat it down, wrap it around, beat it over. Ooh, that might be fun. And kind of go around and around. And then I also like just like a free flow in here, which is, I did that on a couple, but I never showed it on video. Maybe I'll start with a small one. So I'm going to string on a bead like so, and then I'll just grab a little end on the other side. And let's wrap it through a few times. So now we've got one bead kind of hanging out in the center. And now I'm going to do another. Maybe I'll try this square bead or rectangle bead. Excuse me, rectangle bead. And one of these. And then I can kind of zigzag it to the other side. And you know what might be fun even? Let's take that one off. And I'm gonna grab my round nose pliers. I'm gonna put my round nose pliers here, and I'm gonna create a loop. And what that will do is kind of hold that bead there. So I've got a little loop that'll hold that bead there, and then I can add another bead next to it, and then I can grab an edge and pull through. And that just allowed the two beads to be on the same strand. Let me turn this over. Be on the same strand, but have a little bit of, you can even close that a little bit. A little bit of a fun shape in between so they're not just sitting right next to each other. So I want to pull my wire so it's facing the inside of my frame. Again, that's sort of how you want to end off after you do your twisties. Have your wire facing inside, and then you can string something else on. Do I want to go with like a little bead again? And maybe I'll try this big bead and see how it feels. It might be a little heavy. Oh, it feels kind of fun though. That would probably feel fun if I put another little bead here and then wrap it kind of this way. For the wrapping, I'm using 22 gauge. And I feel like that's an okay gauge for this type of technique with it being such a smaller shape. If it was, let's see how that's going to hang there. That's kind of fun. If I was using a bigger shape and I had more space between, might want to go up to a 20 gauge just to give it a little more stability. This one ended up being a little bit smaller of a shape. Okay, so now I want to do this again and have my wire ending facing inside my shape. It's kind of going around it and coming through the top rather than the bottom as it was on the last one. And let's see, what do we want to do next? Ooh, that one's fun. I like that one. I think I want to do another loop in here. So I'm gonna add my round nose pliers, wrap it around to create a nice loop. Grab my wire that's attacking my camera. So I got another fun little loop in there. And then maybe I'll use one of these rectangles. That's one way to make your beads random, is just knock them all out of place and go completely random with it. Oh yeah, talking about candle stores. Like if we're in a mall, my husband can't even walk past a candle store, or certain stores like pump out fragrance or perfume. Like there are times where I'm like, if I sniff it before he gets up to where I am, I'll be like, don't walk on this side, walk on the other side. Because really, it'll just ruin his whole day. And sometimes more than one day. Sometimes you can end up with a headache for multiple days because of those fragrances. Which is so hard. I think people that don't have that issue don't realize how debilitating that can be, to be like assaulted by scent. And you can even now that I have this loop here, you can take your wire and go through one of those loops if you want to. And I'm just going slow because you don't want to kink up your wire when you're doing this. Then that's not fun. Ooh, I kind of like that it made that weird little shape. But I really do want my beads to be kind of closer and clustered together. So I'm going to pull it all the way through, and then I can wrap it around the outside here. And I might use a chain nose plier again just to get this one a little bit tighter. Sometimes my arm strength, my hand strength is enough. Sometimes it's not. Especially as you start to get a few little bumps in your wire. You tend to need a little more help. Okay. And now I'm going to use my nylon jaw pliers and straighten this out a little bit more. Yeah, Terry, Bath and Body Works is a solid nope for us also. I remember when he worked in an office and there were some people that would, and sometimes it's just like your body lotion or your soap you use. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard. And I was like, why don't you write a letter and tell people about their scent? And he was like, no. But I'm like, it's making it difficult for you to go to work every day because you keep getting headaches. It's tough. Oh, Lydia is saying she gets headaches going down to the laundry and cleaning aisles. Yep. Because of all the scents there too. That's true. I think it's becoming more, I think people are becoming more and more aware of it being an issue for some people, because I feel like it's not as much of an issue for my husband as it used to be in terms of just random scent assaults. So I'm going to just pick up some new beads over here and see. I don't think I used one of these yet. And that's a nice big one for that space. It's nice to have a lot of different sizes of beads to play with so that you can kind of use them as a puzzle and fill in little bits and little nooks and crannies. So now I'm going to go through this little loop again, like I did in the top. And that just kind of helps to reinforce this strand. and allows those beads to kind of move around but not fall too far. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this. And I probably have one more little section to do here. Let's see. I don't know if this one will fit, but let's try. Nope, too big. I might be able to do it if I do the smaller bead. So do that one. And then this smaller bead again. Wrap that around. And this one's small enough to be a pendant for sure. If you wanted to do this as a pendant too, you could. And it looks like I can get one more in here. Let's try just one of these dark beads. Let's see if that fits in there. Okay, I'm gonna tuck this one off. And then trim this with the flat side of my cutter facing my project so that it'll be nice and flat cut. And then if you need to tuck it down. Cute. So I'm going to add some dangles to these little loops on the side. This one will connect to this shape here, and then I'll have another connection for the shape down below. But, well, maybe these sparkly beads would be good. Two little sparkly beads. Or I can do these pearly beads. I think these are gonna be fun to catch light though. The extra sparkly beads. Let's move all of these out of there. And I don't know if these really work with it. So I'm gonna make a little dangle. So I'm gonna grab some of my 20 gauge. And I'll probably just do about 4 inches of each. On top, you like it on top? Let's see. So you like get like that little guy. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. All right, so I'm going to first do a loop at the top. I'm not going to close it yet because I want to wrap it around my little container there. That's my top. I've got a lot of wire on the bottom here, and you could use a head pin or something too if you want, but I'm just going to bring it up and around. Pull it tight. And then I'll open up this little loop that I had at the top and then slide it in to here. Hold it closed and then wrap it. And I want to do a wrapped loop because this piece will probably be fluttering about in the wind, and I want to make sure it is nice and tightly connected. And we'll do the same thing again. It looks like a little blueberry or something to me. With that purple berry with that at the top. Yeah, during a monsoon storm, it'll definitely flutter, Lydia says. Probably have to take it down. But yeah, look at how so cute. So for our jump ring to connect, I'm just going to grab that multi-loop plier, and I've been using the largest size. I use the largest size to make this little topper. So I've been using the largest size to make the connecting jump rings as well. So I'm just going to take this little piece that I had cut off from the original shape, my little excess, which I think was, yeah, about 4 inches. Make sure both sides have flush cuts to begin. Place my wire inside my plier here, and I'm going to go around. I'm going to pull it through. Why am I doing it lefty? Let's do it righty. I'm going to pull it through and wrap it around this mandrel here. Until I'm done. I've got myself a little spiral. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim the rings. It made 3 rings. Now you're going to have, if you're using a pair of cutters like I am, where it's a flush cutter on one side, you'll have one side flush and one side not, except this one is both flush because that was the first one on my ring. This side, I've got one flush on the left and then a little pokey one on the right. So I have to trim that right side to get them both flush, and then trim on this one to get it both flush. And then you'll just use a pair of chain nose or bent nose to wiggle those jump rings nice and close together. I'm just going to open one up. I'm going to attach it to the top loop of this one, and then I'm going to find a spot on my original to attach it to that. And so now I have two shapes connected. And then I will add another jump ring down here, and I'm going to make another shape, which will be the blue one, with you guys next time. And maybe we'll do, I don't know, maybe we'll just do a circle or something. I'll have to come up with a different shape each time, or at least go back and forth between circle shapes and maybe diamond shapes. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Woo, so I hope you enjoyed that today. And I look forward to continuing this project with you all so that we have a great, big, long, fun sun catcher at the end of it. Continued next week. Yep. So wishing you guys all a very wonderful week. If you are checking out that mermaid party, that is going to be on Thursday and Friday. You can find details over at softluxcompany.com. And we have a beading party, like I said, on Wednesday. And we've got a shopping spree offer going on now. So spend $50, get one entry into your shopping spree. $75, you get 2 entries, and $99, you get 3 entries. And we're giving away 5 shopping sprees. We will choose a winner to be notified on Friday. All right, everybody. Thank you. Always fun to hang with you and chit chat and create. And I look forward to seeing you all again next Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern for a next episode of Free Spirit Beading, in which we will add on a new color and shape to our dream catcher. Yes, Jan says a different color and shape every week. I'm going to have to really get creative as I get going here and see what shapes will be next. If anyone has any suggestions, tag me in the VIB group if you have any ideas or something that you've made and you want to see me give that shape a try. Don't make it too difficult. And I want to say my shape size is somewhere around 3 inches or smaller. And here's where we're at so far. Ooh, a moon would be great, right? That might be a fun one. The next one is, this one, I should have did an eye. This one could have been an eye shape for the third eye. I have to think about this. This is gonna be fun. A star, a heart, yes. Ooh, a heart would be great for the green one. I could do a sun for the yellow or the orange, and a star is good. Maybe the moon will be for the blue. The moon might be good for blue. Yeah. Stay tuned for a moon shape next week, I think, with the blue. That should be a good time. All right, everyone. Love ya. I'll talk to you next time. Shamrock for green. Oh, you guys are going to come up with lots of different ideas. Well, you know why I was going to do a green heart is because of the green chakra. That is your heart chakra. And so because I love the chakra energy system, that's why my mind went green heart, which might not be where some people's head would go because of that. All right, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye.